What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We are going to be talking about Dungeons and Dragons Honor Amongst Thieves. Now, going into this movie, I didn't know what to expect. Coming from somebody that really isn't big on Dungeons and Dragons, don't know anything about it, I wasn't sure how this movie was going to play for me, mostly because of that. But the trailers have come out and they look fantastic. They look like it was going to be a lot of fun. And the film is directed by John Francis Daley and Jonathan Goldberg, who did one of the most underrated comedies in the last couple of years, and that is Game Night. That movie was a lot of fun, and I really loved what they did with that movie. Plus, they are one of the writers of Spider-Man Homecoming, so that's a huge plus. And so the film tells the story of a charming thief and a band of unlikely adventurers who embark on a quest to retrieve a lost relic. Now, the moment this movie started, there were a lot of worries for me. Coming from somebody that has never seen the original Dungeons and Dragons, which I know a lot of people really don't like, and never played the game, I wasn't sure if I was going to be lost with everything that they were going to be talking about. With the places that they go to, with the spells that they were casting, with characters, wasn't sure how it was going to play for me personally, but I think this is a movie that is going to play to the strongest of Dungeons and Dragons fans. This movie really does lean on the fantastical side of everything. This movie has everything that Dungeons and Dragons fans want, and it expands on that mythology. The mythology around what they're trying to do and the world that they're in works for this movie. It works because it's actually a lot of fun, and you're invested in characters that you really enjoy and characters that you want to follow. A lot of the fantastical in this movie worked for me. It was a lot of fun. One of the things that I really enjoyed about this movie are the characters. I really enjoyed Chris Pine and Michelle Rodriguez together. I think they had a very nice platonic friendship that doesn't force a relationship between those two, and that is something that I absolutely loved and respected that they did, because once you see what Chris Pine's character is trying to do, it brings in a lot of heart that I was not expecting this movie to have, and it works because the relationship between those two characters works. The moment the movie starts, the humor starts to hit, and it works fantastic. I wasn't sure how it was going to hit from beginning to end, but from time to time, it actually works. Now, when it comes down to the CGI elements of this movie, they are mind-blowing. They really have a nice looking texture onto them, and it works for the world that they're in. There are a couple of moments here and there where the CGI is a bit scotty and it doesn't work too much, but other than that, it has a full investment to this world, and you're just invested in what they're trying to do. One of the characters that I was not sure how they were going to do on screen was Justice Smith. His accent in the trailers really didn't work for me. I didn't think it fit, but once you see it in context, I think you're going to have a better appreciation for this character, because I thought he was funny, quippy. He's a bit of a nerd, so I was able to relate to this character. Sophia Lilis was absolutely fantastic, as is Jurik, who is basically able to transform into these animals, something that I wish I could do just to get out of work. But everybody in this movie has wonderful chemistry with one another. Everybody plays to their strengths and makes this material work. They elevate it so you are able to have a lot of fun with it, and a lot of the action sequences in this movie are stylistic, they work, and you're fully invested from beginning to end. And when it comes down to some characters that I kind of wish we saw a little bit more of, one of them is Hugh Grant. I really enjoy whenever he's on screen, and he brings a bit of a charismatic element. And even though I was not the biggest fan of Operation Fortune, I thought he was one of the highlights. He is absolutely fantastic, and it's great that we are able to see him back on screen again. However, in this film, he kind of gets pushed to the backside. He doesn't have a lot of screen time here and there, but whenever he is on screen, he's just charismatic. He's a lot of fun. He knows what he's going for, and he elevates the film. Another character that doesn't really get a lot of screen time, which is kind of our main villain, which is Daisy Head, who plays Sophia. I like her powers. I like what they were trying to do for her, but she doesn't have a lot of screen time for me to get invested, and I really wasn't invested in the moral mission that she has. The things that kind of bother me here and there, the runtime is about 2 hours and 14 minutes, and you kind of feel it in the third act, because there is a moment where the film should have ended, but it kept going, and I still had a lot of fun with what happened in the last 10-20 minutes, but it felt like you could have wrapped it up just a little bit better. But other than that, I had a pleasantly fun time with this movie. The characters are fantastic. Rege Page, he doesn't have a lot of screen time in this movie either, but whenever he's on screen, he's charismatic, he is handsome, and he works for what this film is. And everybody just had a lot of fun with this movie, and you can tell that this movie was made by D&D fans for D&D fans. Now, that might scare you a little bit, but if you're not a D&D fan or know anything about it, you'll miss the nuances of this world of what they're trying to do, but it won't take away from the enjoyment, and a lot of it will work for you. Other times it won't, which is kind of understandable, but that is one of the things that this movie had to have. It had to have the fact that you can get people that are not invested in this game get invested in this world, and if they make a second one, which I'm hoping that they do because I want to come back to this world, then I will be there day one because I had a lot of fun. But overall, I'm going to go ahead and give Dungeons and Dragons an 8 out of 10. This movie was a lot of fun, a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be, and just the word of mouth from this movie. If you hear that it's buzzing, believe it, believe the hype, because it is absolutely fantastic. It's a lot of fun. So go out and check it out in theaters when it comes out on March 31st. But those are my thoughts on this film. Are you guys excited for this film? Are you not? Go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comments below. And once you check it out, come back and let me know if you enjoyed it or not. Until next time, I'll catch you guys on the flip side.